Zaylee Barkley, and I want to welcome you to the Simple Video for Online Courses Masterclass. This is a simple class that I've put together for you today. I am the founder of the Start, Shoot, Grow Video Academy, and I am also a Thinkific expert. So I actually have the best of both worlds, where I get to teach people how to use video in their business and for their online courses. And I also am really great at understanding how to break down your content for your student and for your processes and workflow as a creator as well, or as an instructor for that fact. So today I will be sharing some things from both sides of those two worlds for you, just to make your video creation process much easier for your online course. So of course, the first question is, should you even think about using video content in your online course? And so for me, that's a no-brainer question, and I'll tell you why. Have you ever left the movies and felt like you're driving home or you're on your way home and you just have such an emotional feeling after a good movie, or you just feel so emotional and overwhelmed with happiness or upset, or whatever it is that movie actually gave to you? That is how you can make people feel with your video content. That's the power of video. I kind of like to compare it to if you're taking an online course and you actually don't use video in it. How will that person remember you? How is that experience memorable? Why would they come back to you over and over and over? So for me, video for online courses is truly powerful because you get to create a connection like no other. Another example would be your favorite professor or teacher, or that person in school that made such an impact on you. It could even be the counselor. You remember their face, right? You remember what that person looks like. And so for me, that's how I feel about online courses, because what we really do is pulling that offline experience online. If you were taking an online course and you never saw who your professor was, it would be a different experience from you sitting in a classroom with a professor that you see every week or one that you see every day. Just think about that professor or that teacher who made the most impact in your life, or you loved their online course. For me, I remember being in high school. I went to high school in Trinidad and Tobago, and so my favorite teacher was Miss Sumai, and I can see her today. I can see exactly what she looks like. I haven't seen her in years, but she taught us English literature, and that was such an amazing subject for me. And she actually got kids that didn't want to come to class to actually come to class and enjoy her content. She was an amazing professor, and I just think back to that experience, and I want to have that effect on my people instead of my online course, right? If I had to choose her for 3 years after, I would have. So I want you to think about that. Think about the experience that you can provide for someone by showing up on camera. All in all, video helps us to create solutions, but it also helps us to create deeper connections. And honestly, those connections are going to turn into raving fans or raving students who love what you have to offer. And then that translates into recurring fans and recurring students who are coming to you over and over again for whatever else you may offer as you grow and scale your online course business. So in the next 45 minutes, we are covering a few things well together. The first thing we're covering is why or how can you use video in your own online course. The second thing that we'll be covering is creating a simple talking head video for your online course. What does that entail? What do you need and what do you have to do? And the last thing is your video workflow. What does it look like actually creating a video for an online course? And I'll give you my scripts and step-by-step tips so that you can do the same thing when you are on your own in your own home studio. All right, so we just really got talking about if it's essential to have video in your online course, but now I kind of want to touch on what video facilitates, especially for your student. What do they get out of really seeing you on camera? So the first thing we touched on earlier is that connection. There is no connection like video. It's like being right next to your ideal student. It's like, basically providing the experience of being over their shoulder while they're working through your course content, right? So the next thing would be that consistency, right? So Connection, consistency, that consistency is you showing up for them over and over and over. It's kind of like leaving us to do our own thing at school. What happens? The classroom gets crazy. People start making paper planes. Listen, it gets insane. So that consistency of you showing up all the time, it really gives them a sense of having accountability. And when we think about us going through something ourselves, sometimes it's not best for us to leave it up to us to figure it all out, right? So that consistency just provides support. It's kind of like you coming in at the beginning of every lesson, checking in and checking out, even if you do it only at the top of the course and at the bottom of the course. So the intro and the summary review are ending. And we'll touch on that in a little bit. And the last thing is video facilitates continuation, right? So them moving through with you for this course and probably signing up for something else that you have coming up. I mean, let's face it, when you create one online course, you're gonna want to do something to serve your people even more, whether it's a mastermind, a membership, something more. So that continuation of them having that support from you initially and moving through with you as time goes along is just so much better. So I just wanted to cover that. So that connection, that consistency, and that continuation for your online course business, it really helps to facilitate those things. So you want to make sure that you're getting on camera and connecting with those people. All right, guys, so in this course, we are going to be focusing on talking head videos. Now, there are lots of other types of video content that you can use in your online course, but I find talking head videos to be one of the most powerful types of video. Why? It creates a different level of trust. So when you hear me say video, for the purpose of this course, we're talking about talking head videos. So what is a talking head video? It's a video of a talking head, right? So it's this kind of video where I get to sit face to face with you and guide you through the content. So let's talk about where you would use this kind of video. This kind of video is perfect for a welcome video. So it's a video that you would be introducing yourself and sharing probably a big idea that you have or your philosophy or something like that, so your student gets to know you even better. Think about your classroom and your teacher. They might come in for the first day of the semester or the term, and they might explain who they are. My name is so-and-so, and I have been teaching, or I like, or, a little bit about them. And then they ask you to tell them a little bit about yourself. So it's a good way to introduce yourself to your student. It's an awesome way to get them familiar with you and to also share what you might be covering for the duration of the course. So what does that really mean? Now, the amount of talking head videos in your online course really depends on you. So it's up to you how many videos you want to put in there, but I can give you some guidelines. So at minimum, I would say introduce yourself, and definitely at the end of the course, give a review or summary or, a course conclusion. Talk to those people. Let them know what you want them to do next and what they should know by the time, they have wrapped up the entirety of your course. So you want to think about that. Now that's at the bare minimum. If you want to really get in there and definitely show up more for your person, you can do every module. You can even do every lesson, right? So what does every module mean? Show up at the top of the module and at the end of the module. So in between, it might be lessons. You can show up in there as well. So that's minimum and that's maximum, right? You want to think about it in that way. So if you're truly dedicated, you can show up in each lesson in your online course, but you want to keep the objectives in place at the top of your head. You want to always make sure that you're giving your person the type of content that it takes to get to the objective or the goal of that module or lesson. So you want to keep that in mind. For example, if I'm showing you how to set up your camera, me doing a talking head video is not gonna work. I have to actually show you what that looks like. I have to show you where the lights are, show you where the camera is, show you where to sit and things like that. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to know what types of videos give you the best outcome for, that person getting to that goal or the objective of that lesson, that video, that module, and such. Okay guys, I am back again and we are talking head videos. So this type of video is definitely the hardest one, but you know something? It's gonna push you out of your comfort zone a bit, I'm not gonna lie, but in a really good way. A good way that can result in much more engagement and interaction from your students, a deeper connection with you and your content, and definitely higher completion rates, which turns into more testimonials and more sales for your courses. So for me, the extra effort is really worth it in my eyes. Can you see that? So I'm going to take you on the back end of my setup. I hope you enjoy. So guys, what I want to share with you is that this is for if you're filming in a small space. There are different ways to set up your lighting, but this is what works really well for me in the space that I am in. And hopefully it can give you an idea of what would work really well for you as well. This is really all about testing, and I've tested this setup in a few places as well. So it's best for small home offices, small spaces, and if you are running a one-man show like I am. So the first thing you have is your camera and your tripod, which is at the bottom of the screen. And then you have your lighting on both sides, and you have your desk, you have yourself, and you have the wall or the background. Now take a look at how this looks in person. So keep in mind here that I am at the center of the room, and I am actually using the camera to pan around exactly what is going on in the room, right? So this is basically what I just showed you in that diagram. And so you're able to see where my lights are, where the desk is, where I would be in the chair, and also the background or my wall. So I wanted to show you this so that you get a helpful idea of what it's like. I think that when you see someone else's setup and then you see the quality of their video, you're able to understand how you can replicate that because you're seeing what they're doing on the back end. So yes, you guessed it. This is exactly what I get from that setup that I just showed you. This is what the video content would look like. But you don't have to use a fancy camera to do this. You can actually also use your cell phone. Most cell phones have really great cameras, and I use the Reflector app, and I'll put that in the video guide as well, to mirror my phone screen to my computer so I can see what my setup looks like on the front end. So for reference for this video, I'm using the Canon 70D camera. I really love it. And I'm using it along with a 35mm lens. It's super affordable and it gives a great quality video. But you don't have to do all of that. You can use your phone in the exact place that I showed you that my camera was in. And what you would do is you would actually get a bracket for your phone so that you're able to place your phone in there and prop it onto the tripod so that you can use your phone and the app that I just told you about to get great quality video as well. So don't feel bad if you don't have a DSLR or you don't have a fancy, setup going on. Your phone can create great video as well. Okay guys, so let's dive a little bit into lighting. So I switched up this video to show you what natural lighting in the same setting looks like. So I have two huge panels of windows in front of me, and so I'm able to use natural light for filming as well.
everyone loves natural light. Natural light is the light of all lights, but there are pros and cons. So I definitely always have to plan the time of day that I'm going to film. And the sun shifts itself, so that changes the lighting on your camera as well. So you might start with your video looking one way and ending a different way. So natural lighting is not always really reliable. It's beautiful, but not always really reliable. For me, I love artificial light, which are like the soft boxes that you see in the background of that video, because I'm able to keep the same consistent lighting all across the board. So both have their pros and cons, but if you are a newbie, start using artificial lighting and then dive into natural lighting. That would be a great thing. So you learn your camera, you learn your setup, and you learn how to use soft boxes. They're pretty affordable, so that you can understand how to really dominate your set. Now, natural lighting, however, if you don't have soft boxes, please feel free to dive into your natural light. Just get in front of a window and go. Now, the best things that I would recommend is that you film either really early in the morning when the sun is just getting up there and not beaming down, and also in the evening when the sun has, shifted its way around the world and the lighting around you is a bit softer. The next thing that you want to make sure you do is have a good microphone. You can either get one like this, which is a desktop microphone, or you can use one that clips onto you and catches your voice. Having good quality audio is as important as having good quality video. They really go hand in hand. I'll definitely put a link to this mic. It's super affordable in the guide as well. So guys, the next thing we're going to talk about is backgrounds. So backgrounds get me so excited because of the fact that you can create whatever you want in your background. So I'll tell you a few mistakes people make. They leave their backgrounds where we see too much going on, like mess in the backgrounds and things like that. The best thing, if you don't have a fancy background, is to either use a green screen. So I'm showing you that green screen fabric. Or you can use your wall and do something to it that is signature to you. If you don't, a white wall is fine too. But spruce it up, make it yours. Anytime anyone sees these dots, they know it's one of my videos. So that's great for marketing, and it's a nice touch for my courses as well. Add props to your backgrounds, make it yours. So for me, my little plant back there, it's really simple, but it adds a cute touch to my videos. So get creative with your backgrounds. If not, a simple white wall works fine too.
Obviously, talking head videos are amazing for marketing and sales for your online course, but we're not touching on that in this course. But I wanted to make sure to let you know, because that's when you really want to communicate with your person. But adding these videos to your course just creates a magical touch and a magical connection too. You'll hear me say that a lot. All right, guys, your video action plan. So when we talk about lights, camera, action kind of covers two things, right? Or I like to say lights, camera, audio, and then action. Action is you actually having a video action plan first before you record anything at all. And we'll cover that when we dive deeper into the workflow of creating a video for your online course. But the first thing I want to remind you of is that you must have a plan. You must have a plan so that you're working strategically towards something. If you get on camera and you just start rambling, you will lose yourself and you will lose your student as well. We don't want that. So what does a video action plan involve? Well, it actually involves you knowing what's going to happen when in your video. And this also comes together with video scripting too, right? So you always want to know what you're going to cover when it comes to your video script and when it comes to your recording, because they both go hand in hand. So let's dissect a video a bit. So your video action plan is going to always start with an objective. What is it that you're trying to do for your student? What's the goal that you want them to be able to achieve or understand when they're done looking at your video, right? So we're talking about one video and what we want that student to walk away with. What do we want them to know? The second thing is, what do you want them to feel? Do you want them to feel inspired, excited? What energy are you giving inside of that video? What words are you using to inspire action for your specific student? And the last thing that we want to know is, what are they going to do next, right? So that's going to help us figure out, what is this video action plan going to entail? The next thing that I want to remind you of, two things as it pertains to your video action plan, is a story, right? So I love using Blair Warren's one sentence persuasion. And in this, he lets us know that people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them to throw rocks at their enemies. So a little story about something you have overcome or a student has overcome as it pertains to your online course is always a great way to get people refreshed, geared up, and ready to dive into the next thing. So I want you to keep this in mind as you map out your video action plan. So let's dive into what that actually looks like. All right, so for your video action plan, this is what your workbook looks like. But what I want to do is just go a little more in depth into an example of what it would look like with you filling this out. So the first thing is your video objective. What would you like your student to leave the video knowing or having a deeper understanding of? And so my example would be that video module 1, how to set up your video recording space. And the goal of that video, or the objective, would be to have my students set up their own studio effortlessly. I would love for them to understand what equipment they need to use, and also to know where everything goes so that they're able to effortlessly record. Right? So I want to also touch on a feeling that is associated with the video. And this is so powerful because you want to give your person a specific feeling to walk away with. And I want to think, how do I want my student to feel? What emotion would you like for them to walk away with? Inspired, happy, motivated, encouraged? What would that be? And so my example would be, after watching this video, my goal would be for each person to feel excited, encouraged, and motivated to record their own video content. I'd also like for them to leave with the understanding and mindset that creating video is not difficult at all, as long as you understand what you have to do, where everything goes, and what that workflow is like, right? So I am saying that I am committed to breaking things down so that they feel this way, but I'm also committed to pouring that feeling or outcome into the content as I explain it. Now, the next thing is, what would I like for my students to do next? What is that call to action? And so after your student has taken in your video, what is the action you'd like for them to take next? And for me, I'd love for my students to be able to set up their own recording spaces, and for them to also share their space and start planning to record their next video. So I am creating with that in mind, right? So if you can, what story would you add to make this a stronger point pertaining to the topic of your video for your student? And so I mentioned before, Blair Warren, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. And so for me, the story that I would like to add to my video is that I would like to share that 4 of my most recent students who were completely shy or creating low quality video content, when they enhanced that content based on what I was teaching, they began to get asked to speak on stages, which is absolutely amazing because video is such an amazing vehicle, right? So I'd encourage their dreams by letting them know that they too are also able to be invited to speak on multiple stages so that they can grow their audiences, right? Or I can pick something else, even if it's, helping them to throw rocks at their enemies. It would be that the people that they are thinking are not going to resonate with them on camera are probably not their right audience, so you will attract the people that are supposed to be attracted to you if you do start. So just sharing things, pertaining to these things mentioned in this sentence also helps your person just actually get excited to work through whatever it is that you are teaching them. So I just want you to think about this when it comes to really adding another layer to your video content. All right, I hope that this was great for you. Now let's dive into what your video workflow looks like. All right, now let's talk about your video workflow. This is the last part of this masterclass, and I'm so happy that you're sticking through and that you are actually here. So, what does the workflow look like? I want to share with you because I feel like a lot of us are overwhelmed because we don't know what goes into the actual process of creating a video. So let me share my simple process with you. So what I am going to share is what I do all of the time. The first thing I want to know is, what am I talking about? Although I'm an expert at this stuff, I want to be able to break it down for my students. I want to give them digestible content that they're able to go away and take action on. And you want to be able to do the same thing. So the first thing that I do is research and I start writing, right? So when I start writing, it kind of helps me to flow. And when I write, I actually remember. So even though I know something, I write it out so that I know what I'm talking about, and that really helps a lot. And in writing it out, the next part of my process is creating my script, right? So we're using my example from that action plan, and we're pulling this script all the way together. So because I've done all that writing, I'm able to just add my information into my script and make sure that it is not too long and dreary. I like to remind people that a video, especially for your online course, should be between 7 to 12 minutes, if so much. So I would say 5 to 7 is really a sweet spot, and I would say 15 max. If you don't want to look at long, drawn out videos online, you don't want your student to have to do that either. So you want to be very mindful of that. Right. So for the flow of your video script, there are a few things that you want to make sure that you're doing. The first thing is we have the plan section. In the plan section, we're covering your student's pain, a preview of what you're sharing, and a parable, which is what I use in place for a story. So the pain would be the thing that your student is feeling as it pertains to the video that you are about to record or the content that you are about to cover. So what is that pain that is associated with the content that you are about to share? Now, the preview would be what they are going to learn in this video. And if you go back to your video action plan, then you know exactly what this is. Now, in the video action plan, we also covered the story or the narrative that is going to help your student understand what you are about to teach even better, or why they should really dive into the content that you're about to share next. So that's the plan section. Now, the do section is we're covering points in there, and we are covering how they should proceed. So when I say points, I mean those teaching points that you're covering. And I want you to only cover 3 to 5 points per video. You don't want to overwhelm your student. The next thing that you want to do is, how should they proceed? What should they be doing next? What is that call to action? What are you directing them to next? We covered this in the video action plan as well. And the last thing is the review or the recap. So I want you to recap or review what you covered in the video. Just bring it all together so that they can really understand exactly what you are sharing throughout that content, and make sure that they understood it, right? So you're covering these things and they can go back and say, oh, wow, now I'm supposed to know so and so. But if I don't know it, then I need to look at this video all over again. So plan, do, review is something that I got from Tiffany the Budgetnista. She's absolutely amazing, and she uses that format. And so in hearing her talk about that format, I decided to incorporate it into my video content. So I use plan, do, review as a format for my videos, and I'm giving you what you should use in each section of plan, do, and review. after I'm done writing all of my script out, the next thing that I'm going to do is set up to record. Now you can do this on different days. Let's say you wrote your script yesterday and you researched the day before. Now the next day you're going to set up your space and get ready to get to work. Now you can also do all of this in the same day as well. I've done it both ways, right? So I set up and get ready to record, and I like to get in the mood by making sure that I look right to get on camera. I also want to make sure that my breath smells good. That makes me excited to talk on camera. I don't know, peppermint does something to us. I recently read that it helps you focus. So I make sure and I get some peppermint oil in the atmosphere. I get some perfume on. You know, I get ready. I want to be able to feel my best. So I make sure I do simple things like that. So I get my recording space all set up, and then I get prepared to record my content. Now, one thing I want to make sure that you know when you're recording is I like to record in chunks. So I have my information. I actually have all of my stuff right here on this notepad, and I get my information all the way together, and I know what I'm saying in chunks. So I don't go for the long haul. I want to make sure that I'm giving that information, but I'm remembering it as well myself so that I can give the best to my students and on camera. Also, make sure to straighten your back and smile. Don't hunch over, and make sure that you're looking into the lens and not into the viewfinder of your camera, which is the screen that might be attached to your camera. So you want to just make sure that you're paying attention to little things like that. Looking into the lens is like looking into the eye of your student, and that really helps create a connection in your videos. After that, my next step is to edit and upload. So I upload to the Thinkific platform inside of the video library, and then I get to creating my online course. All right, so I want to make sure that I'm recapping everything that I just said, just in case I explained it too quickly. So the first thing is your research and brainstorming. So you want to research and create an outline for your video content, and you want to refer to your own processes, or you can reference from Google or YouTube or however it is that you do your best work. The next thing that you want to do is complete your video action plan. So complete the video action plan discussed, and you want to make sure you include the video objective, the feeling that you want your student to leave with, the action that you want them to take next, and that story. Don't forget that part. Now, the third part is script writing. So you want to bring both your research and your action plan together inside of the video script template. And the fourth thing you want to do is set up and prepare to record. So you want to set up to record your video or videos with ease, and get ready and prepare yourself for recording your content. The last thing you want to do is record your content as planned in chunks. So let's dive deeper into those chunks, right? So the fifth thing is to record the plan section. Introduce yourself, share the pain, share the preview, and share that parable or story. The sixth thing is that you want to record the do, which is the body of that content. So you want to break down your teaching points, share the content needed for their next level in steps, and share that call to action. Now, the seventh part is record the review or the outro. So you want to summarize that video by letting them recall what they've just learned, and you want to bring your main point and all of the feelings of ease and support home. The eighth thing is edit, upload, and publish. So you edit your video if needed, you upload to Thinkific, and you publish or add it to your online course. So this is your video workflow, and I'm so excited that you were able to sit with me throughout this video. I'm excited to see what you implement. So I hope this class was really helpful for you guys. I'm so thankful for you being here and for lasting throughout this whole class. And I want to know if you learned anything. I also have a special online course video planner that you can use when it comes to creating your own special online course videos. All right, guys, that might have been a lot. But what I want you to remember is you deserve to have great connections with your students, and they deserve to have a great connection with you as well. Ever watched a YouTube video and you only saw a screen share because you were searching for a solution, and then you found that solution, you added or you did whatever they said to do, and then you left because you didn't feel connected anyway? It was just a hit and run. So you want to think about your courses like that. I've taken courses where there were no intros or no talking head videos.
Here's the thing,
you know,
if you are looking to create online courses,
and
so I just took it,
I got what I got, and that was it. You owe it to your students. I would like to create a deep relationship with my students, and
they're depending on you for it.
Have you ever thought of impacting one person over and over and over again, or giving your student just an experience through their online course journey with you? You want to think about those things. It definitely is a game changer and makes a huge difference. Anyway, I look forward to learning more about you on your online course journey and your video journey as well as we journey through this whole thing together. I'll see you soon. Take care. It was such a pleasure connecting with you, and I look forward to seeing you as we move along this online course journey together. And I look forward to learning more about you in this online course journey as we know. And I look forward to learning more about you and your online course journey and your video journey as you journey through. Okay, got it. And I look forward to learning so much more about you as you journey through your online course journey, your video journey, and no. Gosh. What is it? I just look forward to learning more about you. Can I just say that? No. Okay. I just need some gloss. Mm.